shit ready. Dámelo. Ese. Mira lo de Marco Rubio. Okay, so we have that there. Okay, so we have that. Okay. All right, so we have that there then. Okay. So we have that one there. Okay, we have that one. Este no así. Okay. Buenas noches, José Mercado. Saludos, señor José Mercado. Saludos. Let me see, I think this is there. Let's get there. All right. So we have 12 people. Wow, this channel is getting so popular. It's unbelievable. This channel is getting very popular. Saludos, Randy. Thank you so much for asking. Thank you very much. Thank you. Saludos, Madison. Hialeah Pawn Shop, huh? Wow, unbelievable, that Hialeah Pawn Shop. You got to be careful with those Hialeah Pawn Shop people. They're not too good, you know? They might get you. Saludos, Alberto. Beautiful car, Alberto. Beautiful looking rides. Beautiful cars. You know, that Bruce Wayne. Saludos, Julito. Saludos, Julius. From Miami. La Fiera. Yo soy La Fiera. Está bien, papá. Gracias, manito. Gracias. I'll take it as a compliment. Yes. Yes. That's it. Wow. You know what? I got to get into the show already because I got too many people here. You know, I can't be playing around with you guys. You know, I can't keep you waiting. I gotta start the show. Okie dokie. All right. So, Alex, how are you, Alex? Alex. Remember? Alex, you know? Saludos. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back once again to the show, you know, to the show, to the Watch Show. You know, and I know that this is the only public service watch announcement channel out there. You know that. You know, we're the only one. Eso así, Alberto. We are the only show that's going to bring you the truth and nothing but the truth. So I'm going to ask all of you before I get into this unbelievable show that I have prepared. This one I prepared it myself. I did, you know, but he always gets credit, you know, he always gets his credit. Before we get into anything, please, thank you very much, Alex. Thank you very, very much from the bottom of my heart, Papa. I want to ask all of you a favor, a big favor. Please give me a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell if you haven't. You're not going to regret it. I promise you, you're not going to regret it, you know? Okay, Madison. Yes, sir. Thank you, Jonathan. Please do that. Thank you very much. So don't forget that. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very, very happy today. And I want to say that I want to congratulate the people from over there from Pennsylvania Avenue. You know, those people over there, you know, Pennsylvania Avenue. I want to say to them, congratulations to them. I want to congratulate that, you know, the guy from Pennsylvania Avenue and his little pet. He has a little pet by the name of Marco Rubio, you know, Marco Rubio. Saludos, Damon, saludos. Marco Rubio, you know, they did an unbelievable job and they were able to reach an agreement over there, you know, Israel and Hamas. And they got peace, you know. So it's something that we must all be happy that this is happening, you know, these good things. And I feel very, very happy that we have peace in the Middle East, you know, peace, you know, paz. And so that man from over there, little Marquito, papi, little Marco Rubio, he's like a little pet, like a little pet that Pennsylvania Avenue got, has in his lap. And I want to tell all of you something, ladies and gentlemen. And, I already finished saying congratulations, to those people from Washington, D.C. It's unbelievable. But I want to tell you something. You gotta give it up also to, Pennsylvania Avenue's son-in-law. If you guys don't know who is his son-in-law, you must pay attention to what I'm going to say so you can get smarter. And when you go, to talk to the Bettys, to the mommies, to the shaky boom booms, you sound very smart. So we have to, thank this unbelievable son-in-law that Pennsylvania Avenue has. We're talking about, Kushner Jarrett. Kushner Jarrett. If you don't know who he is, that's all right. Kushner Jarrett. I don't expect you guys to know who that is. I don't expect, you guys to know who Kushner Jarrett is. Porque ustedes son un bonche de lambones y palomos, and tomato cans. You understand me? And cow tippers, possum kickers, crumb bums, sandbags. But I'm going to tell you anyway because I'm stupid like that. Ladies and gentlemen, everything I'm telling you is not seriously. It's for fun, so you guys can relax. But that guy, Kushner, Jared Kushner, is the son-in-law to the guy from Pennsylvania Avenue. And if you don't know who he is, he's an instrument. He is an instrument of the deep state. If I get a thunder lightning on my TV tower, we're going to run. Because what I'm going to drop right now is powerful stuff. What I'm going to drop to you guys right now is powerful stuff. Because you guys come to learn here for free. We're not going to be talking about straps. We're not going to be unboxing a watch. We're not going to be talking about a rotor. None of that junk. We don't come for that. We're too smart for that BS, We come here to learn. Kushner Jarrett, he's a Zionist. If you don't know what a Zionist is, that's your problem. That's your problem. I come to show you, educate you. He's a Zionist. He belongs, to the Zionists, and he's, to the sugar daddies, You know what a sugar daddy is, papi? What I drop on you guys is too heavy. Ustedes son unos lambones. This is too tough for you guys. This is like Mr. Damon says. This is like getting a PhD, un doctorado, a doctor. In an hour and a half, you're a doctor already with me. Un doctorado, papi. And let me explain to you something, He is an unbelievable son-in-law. And if you don't think that he has something to do over there, I got news for you. Let me drink a little bit of jungle juice so I can relax. And I want you to know something. These people are unbelievable. These people. I want you to know something. Prophecy doesn't whisper. You don't know about that. You don't know about that. You don't know about that, papi. Prophecy doesn't whisper. You know what I'm trying to say? First, you get the newspaper. Then you get the pretty girl. Then you get the building bailout by Qatar. You don't know about this stuff. Then you get dad. You get dad. You don't know what that is. Ustedes son los lambones. You guys want to go, you know who you guys want to go see? You guys want to go see Deputy Boxing Black Eyes. The Warriors Fat Bastard. The Hungry Hippo Mr. Magoo. Big Pun and Heavy D. The two toddler body brothers selling you a little ticket. The two Jehovah Witness. That's who you want to see. The Hungry Hippo Mr. Magoo. Those people. That's what you guys like, porque ustedes son lambones. So then, you get that. You get that. I don't care. Today, I don't care. We're going to leave early today. Porque ustedes vienen a aprender aquí for free. And I get this deep from you guys. And then when you get that, this is the punchline. Listen and learn. I haven't said her name, man. I'm just telling you. You understand? First you buy a newspaper. First you buy a newspaper. Then you get the pretty girl. Then you get the building with the 3 6s. The Qatar, bail them out. Qatar. And then you get that. And after you get that, you take the power. And you salute. In the Bohemian Grove, you salute. Papi, you don't know about this stuff. It's for free. It's for free, papi. It's for free. Mira. For free. And then it's so many things, It's, tú sabes, if you don't think for a moment, Kushner, if you don't think exactly, bravissimo, Renato Teixeira, bravissimo, ya está. You said it for me. I don't have to, try to give you a subliminal message. You gave it. Listen to what Renato wrote down. But ladies and gentlemen, these people, if you don't think for a moment, they are involved in those 3 letters, the ICA. Usted está mal. Usted está mal. He's an instrument, like a violin. A violin. He's an instrument of the deep. That's all I got to tell you guys. I'm going to leave it there. And that's for you people, so you guys relax. Because you don't know about this stuff. I'm telling you, Pennsylvania Avenue was over there. In the Middle East over there with his little pet, Marco Rubio. He's doing an unbelievable job. That's what they say, That's what they say. Pero el King Kong, el papá de Tarzán, Tarzan, Tarzan has a father and a mother, is Kushner. Don't forget about that, Bobby. He's compromised. You know what compromise is? This is the greatest channel there is. And it's for free. No monthly dues, no monthly payment dues. None of that stuff, none of that stuff. Kino, no te metas. Kino, no te metas en esto ahora, porque estoy en fuego. No quiero que te metas. No me hace falta que me haga. No me haga eso. Telling me to be quiet. I'm not going to be quiet. I'm telling him, Alex, no te puedes meter. Este es tu canal. This is your channel. Tú entiendes inglés. Pero no te puedes meter en esto. Esto es así, papi, listen to me. If you don't see me no more on this channel, it's because, let me go. They come and get me. Those things could happen to me. He refused and then he got corrected. Mr. Damon. Chappelle refused. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, if you're sitting in your house on your $1 million mansion, and they're coming to see you, the men in black are coming to see you because they have instructions to give you that you must follow. And when they sit down and they take off their glasses and they take off the hat, it's George Michael, Michael Jackson, Prince, and Elvis. Tú te quedas loco. You stay crazy. You don't know about that. You go to Africa. You read what Mr. Damon wrote down. You go to Africa. And if you don't think they're around there, that's how it is. They died as entertainers. They died as entertainers. We're gonna leave it there because this story is too much for you guys. Ustedes no tienen cabeza para esto. You don't have una cabeza para esto. Esto es para los lambones, you know? I dropped a little taste for you guys, you know, so you can sleep nice and you learn something, you know? So again, one more time, congratulations to the whole staff over there and all those people and Kushner, you know, all that stuff and the ICA, all of them. Congratulations to all of them. You know, that's it. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you something because you need to know about this stuff. You know, in these next couple of weeks, some big things are going to be happening in New York City. New York, you know? In New York, you know, thank you very much, Damon. Thank you. Yeah, no saben, papi, but I know you understood everything I said. I know Mr. Donut understood everything I said. You know what I'm saying? I know you guys understood a lot of things, you know? I cannot be saying everything because they're going to throw me a thunder lightning on my TV antenna, tower, you know? Y se fue todo, you know? And I don't want that to happen, you know? So, look at that. Almost right away, you know? Got to be careful. Got to be careful. Give me a second. Jungle Juice relaxes me, you know? This thing has some kind of jinxing. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, we have some very important, yes sir, Alex. We have some unbelievable shows happening in New York, in the next couple of weeks. And one is coming in the next couple of days. One is called, I know that none of your favorite Muppet Boiler Room channels will ever tell you this, but I will. If you are in the area of New York City, New Jersey, Washington, Rhode Island, Boston, ¿tú entiendes? Philadelphia, you know, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Washington, D.C. I'm going to tell you there's a very, very big show in New York from the 17th of October to the 19th of October. You know, it's in the Gotham Hall, you know, Gotham Hall, like the Batman, Gotham City, Gotham Hall, you know, in New York City on 1356 Broadway. You know, 1356 Broadway, New York. You know, we got tickets there. It's going to be an unbelievable show. This is the closest thing, you know, I feel so. Kino, no te metas. No te metas. Aguanta. This is the closest thing you're going to get, you know, from flying from wherever you live to over there to Geneva. You know, it's going to be here in New York City, over there, you know, somewhere in the Bronx. I don't know, the Bronx, Broadway, exactly. Watch time in New York. And you got there, ladies and gentlemen, and this I'm going to tell to my friend Damon. They have there, you know, on the booths, you know, they have their H. Mooser. You know, they have H. Mooser. You know, I think it's Grubel something. I watch, you know, Grubel something, Grubel Forsey. Grubel Forsey is going to be there, you know. Airbnb, or I don't know what the name of that one is too, but they're going to be there, you know. Just powerful watches. So I can make it clear for you guys. Rolex is not going to be there. Patek is not going to be there. Yeah, that one, exactly. That one. Exactly, Mr. Donut. Patek is not going to be there. AP is not going to be there, and Rolex. But the rest are going to be there for you. So if you live somewhere, you know, close to the city, you know, Washington, D.C., all those places, you go there. Listen to me, guys, because right now somebody's telling me something and I have to answer back. I go to any show. Nothing's going to happen to me, papi. Nothing. No tienen el coraje que tengo yo. Nothing. Me lo mastico y lo escupo. So listen, there's a show there in New York City. And you live in Boston, New York, New Jersey, Philadelphia, Washington, you know, all those places. You drive over there and you're going to see, you know, an unbelievable show to learn. To see these factories, you know, You know, if you like H. Mooser, you know, the Mooser. they're gonna be there. You know, if you like Grupo Forci, they're gonna be there too. You know, whatever you call that company. You know, you're looking for Bell and Ross, they're gonna be there. You know, if you're looking for, I don't know, you know them all. G-Shock, you know, G-Shock, they're gonna be there. I think it's called Casio. They're gonna be there. Los Elefantes de la Selva, they're gonna be there. These people don't want to tell you nothing because they don't want you to know nothing. But I want you, because when I leave, I want to leave you prepared. Prepare. Because when I leave, Damon has it already. Damon has it. Mr. Donut has it. And he's going to tell his friend. And his friend is going to tell another friend. And it'll keep on going, you know. And this is the idea, you know. You know what I'm saying? I understand, Pete. I understand what you're saying. But just in case you want to go there and you want to feel ese glamour, that glamour, you know, that glamour of, you know, over there in Geneva, you know, los sapos eso, los gilipollas eso, la gonorrea, la cucaracha, you know, those cockroaches, they're over there. You go there. Okay, look at this right now. Alberto from Italy saying that Muser is boring. You know, some people might think that your watches are boring as well, but that's fine, Papi. We love you and we accept you the way you are, you know. And everybody here is, you know, has their right to opinionate whatever they want. Opinar lo que quiera. Opinar lo que quiera. Hasta esto pueden hacer. You know, you can do whatever you want here. So I'm giving you that show. It's from the 17th through the 19th of 2025 of October. And it's a $50 entrance to go see all those watches. I already told you the ones that are not going to be there. AP, Patek Philippe, and Rolex. The rest are going to be there. You know? The rest are going to be there. You know what I'm trying to say, Mr. Damon, you know? So I told you that one. Now, there's another show. Papi, I'm on fire today. I come to blow, you know. Vengo a desbaratar. Vengo a destruir. I come to drop knowledge for free. Poquito de agua, brother, porque esto está... Sí, que no se lo voy a decir con calma, brother. Piano, papi. Dame la pastilla del corazón. So, ladies and gentlemen, in New York City is hot. You know, I told you about Rolly Fest, you know. Rolly Fest. The people with the monkey suit and the big ties. And there was $30 million in watches and tables all over the place. $30 million. You know, Johnson & Johnson took off his paddock, put it on a table and walked away. You know what I'm saying? And 210 of the finest collectors of the world were there. And Rolly Fest. And now you have Watch Time. And ladies and gentlemen, in New York City, it's going to be the Jewelry and Watch Show. The Jewelry and Watch Show from October the 23rd. October the 23rd to the 26th. Is on 125 West 18th Street, New York, New York. And if you want to go to that show, you know, it's a good place for you to go to keep on learning. It'll cost you to go inside. If you take your squeeze, your Betty, your side chick, you know, two of you is going to cost you $32.64 a ticket, you know, $32.64 a ticket. And that's going to be an unbelievable show. They're going to have a lot of stones, big rocks, 8 carat, 10 carats, pink diamonds, canary diamonds, all that stuff. This is New York, papi. No se puede discutir. New York City es una jodienda. You know, New York is unbelievable. You can get also that. You can get it, absolutely. Franco, you can get it, papi. Es parte del sistema. It's part of the system, you know, to get localized. To get localized. You know, it's what it is. Porque esta gente de Nueva York, they got to get prepared. Too many things happening, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm going to keep on telling you certain things to keep you updated for free. For free. Remember, we don't have no monthly dues in this channel. You know, Ralph Crandon and Ed Norton, you know, when they were in the Raccoon, when they were in the Raccoon group, they had to pay monthly dues, you know? Jackie Gleason, Ed Norton, you know what I'm trying to say? You know who Ed Norton is? But we don't have no dues in this channel. Everything is for free. You know, if you want to send 25 cents to Sweet Kick Kino, you can do that. You know, the Raccoon Lounge, Damon, the Raccoon Lounge. They don't know about that, papi. These people, mira, se comen los mocos el día entero, comiéndose los mocos. Son unos cochinos, you know. So there it is. I gave you 2 shows. This week, Alberto, 20 de Italia. Ve para Nueva York, lo encontramos tú allá, en el pavilón. ¿Entiendes? Y chiviramos, you know, parlamo. ¿Entiendes? You know? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I already finished with congratulating, you know, the guy from Pennsylvania Avenue, Kushner, you know, Marco Rubio. You know, he's like a little pet from the guy from Pennsylvania. I talked to you about Watch Time. I talked to you about the jewelry and watch show, you know, both in New York. You know, 2 semanas completamente. And so there it is for you guys, so you guys know what's going on. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Damon, thank you so much, man. Kino, te mandó 20 pesos, Damon, papá, coño. Damon, coño, gracias, manito, gracias. Con el corazón en la mano, thank you, coño. Un corazón para Damon, papi, coño. Eso es una felicidad brutal. Qué bonito, qué bonito. Gracias, Damon. Thank you very much, Damon. I want to tell all of you something, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to make this quick. You know, precious material is just going crazy. And I told you yesterday that this was going up. You know, the rockets, they go up. Those rockets, you know, they go all the way up. It's going all the way up, ladies and gentlemen. And when I tell you what I'm going to tell you, it's going to blow your hair back and knock your socks off. It's crazy what I'm going to tell you. It's crazy, ladies and gentlemen. I want to start by telling you palladium. I told you yesterday palladium was, I don't know, somewhere, you know, it was something like 14 and change. And today it already went up to $1,540 a troy ounce. Palladium, you know, it's unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen, what's happening in the world, you know. I want to talk to you about platinum. You know, platinum made it to $1,701, and then it went down to 1683. Saludos, Thurston Howard III. Saludos, bendiciones para ustedes. You know, muchas bendiciones. Coño, peace in the Middle East. Peace in the Middle East. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you something, because I don't know if to talk about the white, you know, the white stuff or the gold stuff. I don't know which way to go. You know, which way do you want me to go, Mr. Blair? Or which way do you want me to go, Mr. Donut? Damon, which way do you want me to go? You know, which way? Should I talk about the gold? Should I talk about the white stuff? You tell me which way. The gold. Okay, the gold. The silver is pumping. There it is, the silver. I don't know. I'm going to have to flip a coin. Like those monkeys from over there from 47th Street. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm going to have to flip a coin. But anyway, guys. Okay, gold is the winner. I want you guys to know something that I told you yesterday, you know, about gold. And I told you a price yesterday of $4,000 and I'll say $4,030. I can't remember everything. But ladies and gentlemen, gold today went all the way up. All the way up. All the way up to $4,130. Right? $4,130. This is unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, this is something that, you know, I have to tell you, you know, tienen que apretarse la correa. You have to tighten up your belts. Porque esto da miedo. For a moment, I'm going to leave gold for a second alone. And I'm going to jump over to the white stuff. You know, the white stuff is silver. And ladies and gentlemen, today we had another record-breaking day. Another record-breaking day on the white stuff, silver. Silver, ladies and gentlemen. Papa, you're not going to believe this. It went all the way up. It went all the way up to $52.49, Papi. $52.49. This is something unbelievable that is happening. You know, these things are happening. You should see the way the people are reacting, because I have said to people that gold and silver, you know, are behaving better than Bitcoin. Listen to me. If you like Bitcoin, that's not a problem, Papi. I just told you on Monday what was happening with gold and Bitcoin. And on Friday, all of you got this deep. Deep. You got it deep. It went all the way in. That I told you. So you can't say I didn't tell you. So those two precious metals, all the way up. But stop there for a second, ladies and gentlemen. Stop there for a second. I'm gonna go back to gold. I'll come back to the white stuff, you know, silver white stuff in a moment. Ladies and gentlemen, you're not gonna believe this. You're not gonna believe this. Y se lo voy a decir, Kino. Lo voy a decir. Tienen que saberlo. Good stuff. My wife prepared that for me. It's nice and warm. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are a gold, you know, and you're stacking up on gold, you're not going to believe what they're telling me. If you ask me if I believe what I'm going to tell you, I got to say I have my doubts. I have my strong, strong doubts. But ladies and gentlemen, they're saying that gold is going to be going up. Not every day, but every week. Every week, gold is going up. I'm afraid. Sí, me da pena decir el número, Kino. No le quiero decir el número porque lo voy a asustar. Lo voy a asustar, Kino. Se lo voy a decir. They're saying, how much do you think they're saying? How much do you guys believe, you ladies and gentlemen believe, that they're saying, allegedly, everything we say in this channel is allegedly, you know? Allegedly. You know, everything is allegedly. Allegedly. How much do you think they're saying that gold is going to go up every week? You said $20,000, Damon? 10,000? I'm talking about gold right now is at $4,130. And these experts are saying that gold is going to go up every week this amount. How much do you think? Okay, Alex, you see, you understand what I'm trying to say. Okay, Señor Mercado, you understand what I'm trying to say. There you go, Randy. Stop right there, Randy. I saw Randy, the green Randy. Ladies and gentlemen, you ready for this? You're ready for this. Listen and learn. Because I listen and I learn. I stay like this. Want to see how I stand? Really? Wow. They say that gold is going to go up every week, what Randy just put down. And then listen to what Thurston Howard III just finished putting down. And here it goes. They're saying it's going to go up $100 a week. And from here to Christmas, listen to Thurston Howell. It's not me. You know, Thurston doesn't work with me. Jose Mercado doesn't work with me. Kino, cállate. Unbelievable. You know what I'm trying to say? $100 a week. Somebody, Dr. E, Thurston Howard III, Mr. Donor, Dr. Evil, Dr. Blair, no, Mr. Blair, excuse me, Mr. Blair, Mr. Damon, please help me. How much is that going to go up to? You know, if it's $100 a week and we are in the third week of October, you know, and they saying that by Christmas, man, you don't understand what they're telling me. Wow, 750 billion using market. It's 5,000. Wow, man, by New Year's Eve. That's what they're saying, ladies and gentlemen. And I got to tell you something now. because I was looking at them talking, because these people, they're very, so maniacal. They're maniacs. They sit down and, and they're saying an 800 by the end of the year. Listen to this. So Alex is saying there's going to drop to 800. That's what I understand, Alex. Unbelievable. I mean, listen, I don't. There it is. There it is, Mr. Donut. Okay, I got you, Alex. You know what it is that they said it, up 800. Okay, they said that from here to the holidays, very near to the holidays, Christmas, Nochebuena, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, el 30, el 31, la víspera de Año Nuevo, toda esa jodienda, New Year's Eve. They're talking about $5,000. And I looked at them and I said, really? And I said, okay, I'm hearing what you're saying, that it's gonna, go up to $5,000 in total. If it goes $100 a week, it'll make it to $5,000. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna be honest. The way this thing is behaving, and we are going into I think it's our 13th or 14th day of the government shutdown. And we have those people over there, those Michiganders, they're still having it out over there, and they can't come to an agreement. They're too compromised with the business, with the business world, I'm going to be honest, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to be honest, and you're going to get surprised. You're going to get surprised. I honestly believe, and they were in shock when they heard me. They were in shock, and they said to me, "What?" I said, "I think you guys are low on that $5,000, on the holidays. I think Go is gonna blow up. I think Go is gonna blow up, ladies and gentlemen. Allegedly." And they looked at me like I had 50 heads, because you guys are saying $100 a week, and you guys are saying by January the 31st, it'll be at $5,000. And ladies and gentlemen, papi, this is going too fast. We're at 4130. And this mother frogger is still going to continue going up. I didn't say a bad word. I said frog. This mother frogger is going all the way to the moon. All the way to the moon, ladies and gentlemen. You cannot tell me, ladies and gentlemen, it's going too fast, papi. It's going too fast. It's like having a Gambala, a Porsche Gambala, turbo, tirando cambio, en el, how do you call that expressway over there in Germany? Those cars go like 400 miles an hour. You know what I'm saying? How do you call that place, It's unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. It's unbelievable. The Autobahn, as you go there, it's unbelievable the way this is going. No, Alex, not I-95, the one for Germany, the Autobahn, something like that, This is flying. So I'm telling you this allegedly, and they looked at me like, they even told me, "Coño, fulano, tú nunca había hablado. Man, you never spoke that way. What's up?" I said, "Don't you see this thing is flying? Don't you see the way gold is behaving? And you had a man-made coin that went all the way up to $125,000? You know what I'm saying? A little man-made coin that it was made by the ICA. No sea lambone, by the ICA. You think that coin that's been around for 16 years could really be that more powerful than when Moses, and his people sitting around the big table, Gold is king. No hay forma. I just wanted to tell you that, that I said that to them and they freaked out. But you know what? One thing is that you guys must have been hearing our conversation, because you guys said $100. And I saw some of you said that 5,000 by the beginning of of the year, of January 2026, or la 31, la víspera, Es una jodienda. So, it's getting kind of scary, ladies and gentlemen. And today, I don't want to continue talking about this because, a lot of people want to hear a watch market update, and I must oblige, and I must give them what they want for free. I must give it to them for free. I'm going to give them a watch market update because they really want it. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be talking about, I can talk another hour about, Kushner. I can talk another hour about gold. I can talk another hour about silver. And I'm going to go back to silver for a moment, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to go to silver. Ladies and gentlemen, I was going to go to the watch market update, but I have to go back to silver. When something breaks, it's unbelievable. Another record, another record day. Let me see what Christopher wrote here. Yes. You're absolutely right, Christopher. You're absolutely right. When you see there's something that just continue breaking the record and continue breaking the record, something is gonna have to happen bigger than that, And ladies and gentlemen, some people are also saying, just in case, have you guys searched? 'Cause I know a lot of you guys like to look at the internet and read the newspaper, Bloomberg, all that good stuff. But do you know what number they're saying that it has to jump from here to this number, silver? Do you guys have an idea what they're talking about silver? What price of a troy ounce they're talking about that it should go to? Anybody know? $70, okay, Thurston 70, Alex 120. Well, you know what? You guys are going in the right direction. They wanted to go to 3 digits. They wanted to go to 3 digits. And that's when all the heavy hitters are going to come out, when it hits that 3-digit number. They're talking about that gold should be already, silver should be already, the white stuff should be already at a number. You ready? One more. You guys are pretty close. 100, 150, 70, 120. $225 a troy ounce. That's the number they're talking about. Poppy should be 70 today based on gold. Yes, it should. You're absolutely right, Thurston Howard. It should be there. You're right. And they're talking about 225. And the reason I'm doing this quickly is because I told you yesterday, and I'll repeat it again. Costco, one of the gentlemen that work in jewelry, I asked him about the gold and I asked him about silver. And the one that I really want to hear about was the silver. He says, yes, we had the silver bars here of 10 ounces. 10 ounces, but they flew off the shelf. They flew out of here. The 10 ounces. And guys, I'm not lying to you. It must have been just a little bit over $300, the 10 ounces. And he says, the ones that were coming in now, they're already at $458, the 10 ounces, the 10 ounces, $458. And they're already talking about that silver should be at a number, allegedly. Just keep your eyes open and look at it real well, of $225 a troy ounce. Like tomorrow. Enough of this. Enough of the Hunt brothers. Enough of the Hunt brothers. Enough of 2011 and enough of 2025. Give me 225 and I'll start stacking up. That's what they're saying. Papi, if you buy thousands and thousands of pounds of, yes. Oh, look at this. Oh my God. Thank you, Damon. What? Look what Damon put down. Coño. Damon, where did you hear that? Coño. 500, I told you, $480 something yesterday. bought off their website. You see, there it is. Oh my God. So forget about what I said about the 486. It's no longer 486. He bought off the website, man. What the heck, man? That bugged me out. Thank you so much, Damon, for telling me that. Wow, 570 for 10 ounce. Wow. Okay. So, you know, so there it is, guys. You see that? I wasn't pulling your hairs. I was being, there it is, 52.50. Yes, I have, what did I have? I have 52.49. Yes. So from yesterday to today, it went up $80. So you guys should just really, really concentrate. You know, I'm never going to tell you to buy anything. I'm not no financial advisor. I don't know nothing. I don't know nothing. I just know how to read. Read. That's it. You know, read. And there it is, ladies and gentlemen. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you what it is, man. Coño, I'm telling you what it is. Christopher, thank you very much for supporting the channel. Thank you very much, Christopher, for supporting the channel. But I am in total shock to hear that this thing already shot up already. Thank you again, Mr. Christopher, for that. Thank you, chat. Thank you so much. I am in total disbelief. Damon bought from the website of Costco, and he bought 10 ounces. And there it is, 10 ounces for $570. And yesterday, the gentleman from the jewelry told me $486. $486. So I'm telling all of you to, you know, look into it. I'm not telling you to buy. I'm never going to tell you to buy. But look into it porque esto está serio. You know, this is serious stuff. I honestly believe that, you know, listen, if you like to buy Bitcoin, continue buying Bitcoin. But I'm telling you what I've been telling you for the last 3 years. And you can ask any of my Organic Watch channel subscribers. For 3 years, I've been telling you, gold. Everything else is debt, buy gold. Okay? I've been telling you. Saludos, Doc Mick in Florida. Saludos. So there it is, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank very much Damon for giving me that news because, I thought it was 486. And I said, I'm going to go back over there and, you know, I'm saying to myself, you know, buy $2,000 y me voy con mis 2,000 pesitos de plata. I want to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, and I was about to tell you that, but when Damon said the price, I got out of track what I was going to tell you. It's not easy to buy silver because this thing weighs, and if you're going to buy, an example, you're going to buy 4,000 pounds of silver, you know, and it's $50, es un problema. You know, it's a problem. Please try to understand what I'm saying. You might be saying, but what do you mean a problem? It's just heavy. You got to go, you know, take it to, you know, refinery. You know, wishy-washy, 2 or 3 pesos, vaya pa'l carajo, you know? So the people that want to get in it, you know, they want to go in there, you know, knowing already, hay dinero aquí, there's money here, you know? If I got 4,000 pounds, you know, and I'm making $1.50, estamos bien, you know, an ounce. But people still thinking of the 52.49 a troy ounce. But it's moving up. And these people are saying 225. Y lo van a coger a todos nosotros con los canzoncillos bajados. They're going to get us all with, you know, with our drawers down to the floor, you know. And we're not going to get on the bus. We're going to get this, you know. So this is why I'm telling you that, you know, again, one more time, Damon, thank you so much for, you know, announcing this number that you announced. Because I thought it was 4 something, but it's not. It's moving on up. And Costco is cashing in too. Foreclosure, you know, you go over there to Cape Coral, you know, Sanibel Island, you know, it's a ghost town over there, you know. Ghostface Killer, you know, Ghostface Killer. You know, Ghostface Killer was a rapping group, you know, they call him, you know, Ghostface Killer, you know, the two Wangs, I don't know why, I forgot. He was a rapper there. You know what I'm trying to say, you know? It's unbelievable. I'm getting some jungle juice because you guys got me really nervous, you know? Unbelievable. The 2-1 Chang. There you go. You know what I'm saying. Yeah, that one, you know. Caballero, póngase moca. Póngase moca. We Spanish people say, you know, póngase moca means, you know, become like a fly. You know, you try to catch a fly, you can't get it. You know, they're too quick. So you guys need to get quick, all right? It's incredible. I can continue talking about this, ladies and gentlemen, but I gotta give a watch market update because this is what this channel was, you know, was really, you know, for watch market update, you know. But this is unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. That dollar today will buy you a penny. Ladies and gentlemen, I got 45 organic watch channel subscribers and 29 thumbs up. Es un insulto, brother. Es un insulto. Eso es malo. Eso es malo. They're learning for free. This channel is getting powerful. You know, 45 people, you know, spooking. You know, and they're stunned. You know, they're stunned. They're learning. Today, they're embarrassed. You know, we learned too much with this guy. Salute Dial at the Bohemian Grove. Papi, esto está jodido. Esto está jodido. This is chapter 30. Chapter 30. We're going to put it in chapter 30, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to give you guys a watch market update because you guys, you know, when I think I'm out, you guys push me back in. You know, so I'm going to do it now. Ladies and gentlemen, our first watch of the evening for chapter 31. You're right. I'm sorry. You're right. You're right, Mr. Donut. Our first watch of the night is a Rolex stainless steel GMT green hand. You know, the green hand, the one that's been retired, you know, the one that has been, you know, it's a collector's choice, collector's dream, or like Mr. Franco says, a collector's grave, you know, collector's unit. Reference number 116710, 40 millimeter. Retail price, $8,450. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you, it doesn't matter what those people, you know, from Beverly Hills, you know, those two at the night at the Roxbury, you know, two brothers, one is tall, one is short, you know, one talks a lot, one is introverted, and they hang out with two pay wigmen, you know, in Beverly Hills, you know, feet happy. Ladies and gentlemen, don't believe what he tells you. Believe Sweet Kid Kino. Don't pay for that watch more than $10,700 in dropping. You do whatever you want. It's your money and you do whatever you want. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is a Rolex Rose Gold Daytona with a chocolate dial. You know, fully rose gold bracelet casing and a chocolate dial. You know, I had that watch and I sold it and I left to Dubai. I'm telling you the truth. 40 millimeter, you know, retail price of that watch is $41,600. And ladies and gentlemen, you do whatever you want. You want to use slider condition material watches, you know, use. You know what I'm trying to say, Alex. Beautiful looking watch, but don't believe what they're telling you. Don't pay for that watch, for that rose gold Daytona chocolate dial. Reference number, I don't know. I don't even know the reference. I'm not going to tell you. Don't pay for that watch more than $44,500. And not yet. I'm not going to give it to you still. I'm going to hold on. I'm not going to give it to you. You do whatever you want. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to talk to you about a watch that you guys need to hear this, because when they tell you that watches, complications, grand complications from Patek Philippe are up, don't listen to these Michiganers. Don't listen to, no. Papi, there's only 2 watch models that matter in Patek Philippe. Only 2. And you know what they are because you guys are very smart. But I'm going to tell to the ones that don't know what watch models there are. The Nautilus and the Aquanaut. The rest, eso es Cativilla, papi, Cativilla. You know what Cativilla is? Cativilla. If you don't know what Cativilla is, you Google it because I'm not going to tell you. This is the Patek Philippe Grand Complications Perpetual Calendar 5270. Unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen, with a retail price of $240,000. $240,000. Don't pay for that watch. You do whatever you want. You know, it's the yellow gold one, Papi. You know, it's the yellow gold, a little bit more rare. Don't pay for that watch. Do we have any Patek Philippe owners here? Do we have any Patek Philippe owners here? So they can tell me how much. You know, $240,028. $240,000. Does anybody know how much? Tell me how much Doc Mick in Florida. How much am I going to tell you not to pay for that watch? And you want it with all the bells and whistles. How much? Let's see. Going once? Going twice? That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. I'm not gonna look at the screen. I'm just gonna show you this. I'm gonna show it to you. That's crazy. Number 3. Right there. What price did I put down? What price? What price did I put down? Mr. Donut, I'm in shock. Don't pay more than $118,000. That's what it is. Unbelievable. That's what I got to say. 180. I'm sorry, it's backwards, Papa. You know, our studio is, it's not like what you used to watching. This is not Deputy Boxing Black Eye Material Studio. There it is, $118,000. A gentleman by the name of Mr. Donut. He hit it ding in the head. I didn't have nothing else to say. Ladies and gentlemen, I got a Patek Philippe Aquanaut, white gold, 5168, 42.2 millimeter casing, blue dial, blue rubber. Retail price, $63,306. Go ahead, tell me now again. Let's see if you can get this one. Go ahead. Aquanaut, white gold, 5168, 42.2 millimeter casing, blue dial, blue rubber, $63,306. $82,000 by Doc Mick out of Florida. Unbelievable. These people are getting too good, man. And he threw $82,000. He threw 82. One more? Yes or no? 82 he threw. Están hechos unos frescos estos muchachos. Están hechos unos frescos. They know too much. Están bien enseñados. Ladies and gentlemen, don't pay for that watch. You do whatever you want. Don't pay for that beautiful Patek Philippe Aquanaut white gold 5168. Don't pay more, and you do whatever you want. Wow. Don't pay more, but don't pay more than $84,000. Okay, there it is right there. You got it now, right? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to talk to you about the Rolex Rose Gold Land Dweller, the 36 millimeter. Reference number 127235 with a white dial. With a chicken coop. A chicken coop. You know who put the chicken coop name? I think it was Mr. Donut. The chicken coop. It's like a turkey. When they put the net, the turkey in, it has that kind of a chicken coop. Like that. It's unbelievable, that dial. White dial, ladies and gentlemen. Rose gold. Beautiful. 36 millimeter white dial. Retail price, $43,300 with a reference number 127235. Does anybody know what I'm going to turn out to pay for that 36 millimeter? No sean huevones, papi. 36 millimeters is, no sean huevones. Okay, Mr. Premium. Okay. Stop right there. This gentleman, Randy, said $53,000. And I'm going to show you something because I'm stupid like that. I'm going to show it to you. I have to show it to you. It's right here. $52,000. Don't pay more than $52,000. It's falling off a cliff. I'm telling you, the 36 millimeter is falling off a cliff. Don't pay more than that. You heard what Randy said. I'm telling you, Randy has to be a dealer, a watch dealer. Because to get that number, you understand that. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is a Rolex Rose Gold Land Dweller, 40 millimeter, 40. Reference number 127335, white dial with a chicken coop white dial as well, but a 40 millimeter. Ladies and gentlemen, the retail price of that watch is $47,740. Okay, that's what the price is. Does anybody know what I'm going to tell you to pay for that watch? No sean lambones. No sean lambones. The 40 millimeter. Come on, Randy. Go ahead. Throw one there, Randy. Let's see where you're at. No good? I know. Don't pay for that watch, ladies and gentlemen. You do whatever you want. But don't pay for that watch. Don't matter what they keep on telling you. Okay, good shot. Okay, getting better. Okay. All right. It's between Creative Experiments and Mr. Premium. Right there. Okay, here it goes. 59. Okay, don't pay for that 40 millimeter Land Dweller. Don't pay more than $62,000 in dropping. You do whatever you want. You can continue believing those people out there. You can continue. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to talk to you about an AP Royal Oak White Gold, reference number 16202BC. You know, when you hear the letters B as in boy, C as in Carlos, it's trouble. Ultra thin, jumbo, 39 millimeter. You know, it has a grainy blue dial. You know, white gold with a grainy. You know, like that dial from that guy. You know, the guy that plays the guitar. But this is a jumbo, ultra. You know, beautiful watch, ladies and gentlemen. They will take you in the back door. You know, they will take you back there. And I don't know what they would, you know, what would they do to you back there when they take you. You know, the AP, they have a secret door back there. They take you there. I don't know what they do. You know, I don't know. I don't even want to get involved in that. But something happens back there. They open a bottle of, you know, La Gran Dama, you know, La Gran Dama, chupal, you know. It's unbelievable. And they show you that watch, you know. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, you put that watch on and you're a lawyer and you're addressing the judge, you won the case. I'm telling you, beautiful watch. Beautiful watch. And I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, because this gentleman, you're going to be thinking, this guy is showing these people, you know what I'm trying to say, Damon, you know what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm trying to say. And when I show you this, Mr. Donut just put $98,000. I don't want nobody cheating no more. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this because I don't want nobody cheating. Look at the number right here. $98,500. Okay? Don't pay more than that. Even if they're putting out there for 129, 124, no regalen más el dinero. You cut a clip from my live stream and you send it to them. You say to them this. You see that live stream? What he says, I'm willing to pay. From any of the watches that I'm giving you, you tell them from any of the watches, you cut the clip and you send it away. He said that, I'm a buyer. If you want those watches, you do whatever you want. Papi, the watch market is dead. Get it through your head. The watch market is dead. Ladies and gentlemen, I got to tell you something else. Because people are confused. You know, somebody sent me, a very kind subscriber sent me a text. And they show the guy from 47th Street, you know, the 10 Commandments, 10 Commandments, Moses, 10 Commandments. And they send me that. And the guy buys a watch, an AP, and it's packed, with gold and it has little rocks, tap, tap, banged in the basement in the 47th Street, they bang it there, And, but I want you to know, because you need to know this. But gold is gold. It doesn't make a difference. But they're not banging away and they're not melting away an actual AP. Eso es, they do, un esqueleto, they make the same model, they drop all the gold in there and they make it. And it doesn't have to look perfect because they're gonna bang it up and they're gonna put all those stones. But those watches, I want you to know, to the ones that don't know it, they're not actually an AP, that was born over there in the factory, Exactly. It was stamped, like stamped concrete, stamped. And they're melting them away. But still, I wanted to tell you that, but still, as you can see, they take out, the movement, they take out the dial, they take out all the little, micro diamonds. They buy the watch, just giving you an example, okay? Just giving you an example. The movement is for real. The dial is for real. The stones, the stones are aftermarket. So they give the guy that came in, porque es que son estúpidos, Es que son estúpidos. Son estúpidos. Pobrecito, you don't know, you don't have no direction, and you just do it. The guy, I'm gonna buy the watch from you, I'm gonna probably put it here in my showroom, but I'm gonna offer you $30,000. $30,000. This is what I'm telling you. The trick. This is why I'm telling you. The people from 47th Street, Papi, you have to give those people credit. You have to give those people credit because they're not thinking no more about selling your watch. They're thinking, how do I make money? How do I make money to pay my monthly space in this diamond building? And they give the guy $30,000, right? $30,000. And the guy had in gold, dial, movement, and stones, he had $48,500. Come on, papi. No podemos seguir siendo pendejos. Stop giving your money away. Stop giving your money away. It's like the catalytic converter, that has rhodium. And the people go into the car and they try to get the muffler, that kind of stuff. And they melt it. It's just a little thing like that of rhodium. You know what I'm trying to say. Esta gente son el diablo. This is why I'm telling you, ellos son la cuna. They are the crib of doing business so quick that before you knew it, something just, vete, you're done. He might come back, the person that sold the watch to that guy, 10 Commandments, he might come back and say, you know what? I want my watch back. It's already melted. That's how it is. It's simple. These people are taught well. I told you already, these people don't, let me tell you, when these kids are babies, the parents, man, they show them every trick on the book. And they are professionals. They don't have to become a doctor. They don't have to become a lawyer. They have the best profession. They have the best profession. And they're not stealing from you because these people they don't frog around. They're not stealing from you. You go in there and you have a chain and you want to sell it, they give you a number. You accept it, they give it to you. You sign the papers, I melt it. The guy just left me here $14,000. Papi, 14,000 pesos. 14,000 pesos. No. Papi, no coman mierda. Hay que despertarse. La cabeza no es solamente para pelo. The head is not only for hair. All right? It's to think. And these motherfuckers are sharp, man. They're one of the sharpest in the draw. These are kids. Those kids you see there with the kangaroo hat, the Gucci hat backwards, that's un chamaco. But he was taught, Bobby. He was taught. I told my son every once in a while, I sit him down, I talk to him. My son is a 38-year-old man already. And I talked to him. I said, look at these people. Look at these people. La chola, papi, la chola. And they, you know what is to make it. Does it happen every day? No, it doesn't happen every day. But it does happen. It does happen. You know what I'm trying to say, Jonathan. Esa gente sabe mucho. They're too smart. You know, they know already. They know they're not buying. Listen to me. Today, it doesn't matter what make, model the watch is. Lo que vale es que sea de oro. Y más que sea de 18. What you need it to be is pure gold. And more, if it's 18 karat gold, it's even better. And he's looking at it. He knows in his mind that the movement, in his mind right away, the movement has 22 grams. The movement has 22 grams. Okay, I'm taking out 22 grams. When he's putting it on the weight, boom, boom, he's telling the customer, it has, even with the 22 grams of the movement, it has so much. Yeah, that's what they told me. Perfect. Okay, this is how much I'm going to give you. I have the money here. Cash is king. Quick math, papi. Quick math. Boom, 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 boom. And they leave you homeless. You're homeless. You know? Estás homeless. Papi, te comen. Te comen el fuyingo. You know what fuyingo is? You don't know what fuyingo is. El fuyingo te lo comen. And then you got the other guy. You know, Mazalito. Mazalito, he has una caja de dientes. Chiclets, you know? He finally put his teeth on, the Mazalito, you know? Got like 4 teeth missing. It's unbelievable, these people, you know? 4 teeth missing, you know? It's incredible, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Come on, guys. You know what I do for you guys for free? Mazalito, you know? He had 4 teeth missing in the front. And now he has like 4 chiclets, you know? Because those, let me tell you, those teeth cost $20,000, $10,000. It's not easy. But when you metiendo home runs and grand slams of 14,000, 18,000, you know what it is, papi. You know, Marcelito, mi respeto para Marcelito. He was another one that the father would tell him, Marcelito. Marcelito was another one that the father would tell him, get on top of the table. No, I don't want, get on top of the table, Marcelito. Come on, jump. I don't want papa. I don't want papa. Jump. No, I don't want papa. And suddenly Marcelito said, you know, papa, please don't do this to me. Jump, I'm going to catch you. And Marcelito threw himself, you know, with his teeth. Bang! Destroy all his front teeth. And he said, you never trust nobody. That's it. This is how you enter that club. You don't know about this stuff. You don't know about this stuff, ladies and gentlemen. I'm on fire today, ladies and gentlemen. I'm on fire. You don't know about this stuff. And you're thinking in your mind, this guy's pulling our hair. He's joking. No, I'm not. I'm not joking. I'm making it funny for you guys so you guys can relax. But none of those lambones that you watch, they're not going to tell you this. You know what they're saying? Do you know what they say about me, ladies and gentlemen? They say this guy has really waken up so many watch collectors out there. That guy. And somebody was asking me today that I'm going to go to the show, you know, to the time watch time with a Halloween costume. No comas mierda. Le meto 4 galletazos a toda esa gente. 4 galletazos le meto. 4. So that's what's going on, ladies and gentlemen, right? Ladies and gentlemen, I got to tell you something, you know. Our channel is getting powerful. You know what it is that we have an average of 40 people watching this show live? And we're going on, I don't know, like an hour and 15 minutes. That's unbelievable, ladies and gentlemen. I'm a legend, you know. I'm a legend. You know, what can I say? Unbelievable. Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is a Richard Mille. Richard Mille RM 28 AJTI round. You know, the round one. You know, the one that nobody wants. The one that nobody wants, the round one. It's a 47 millimeter watch. Watch is over $235,000. Richard Mille watches are dead in water. It doesn't matter, man. They push this watch on you guys, you know. They push this watch on you guys because all of you are Shaggy Rogers. Not Scooby-Doo, Shaggy Rogers. Shaggy Rogers. I'm telling you what it is. I'm giving you today. This is going to be on chapter 31. This show today will go down in history. Acabé con todo mundo. And ladies and gentlemen, Black Dial, Black Rubber, 47 millimeter. Don't pay for that watch. No sean lambones. Don't pay for that watch more than $57,000. My God, man. Imagine paying $235,000 plus taxes. Hay que estar loco, brother. Hay que estar loco. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to talk about Omega. Omega Speedmaster Moonshine. Rose gold. Fully rose gold. With a green dial. You know? Camouflage. Green dial. You know, from the army. I don't know, from those, you know what I'm trying to say. And ladies and gentlemen, this watch is unbelievable. That beautiful rose, moonshine, rose gold. It's unbelievable. Reference number is so long. It's like an Amtrak. It's so long. It has so many numbers. But I got to give it to you. 310-6042-5010-001, ladies and gentlemen. You know what? I can't take this kit no more. This Mr. Donut, man. Because I'm going to just show it to you. Because you wrote it down. And I'm going to show you the number. Don't pay more than $22,000. You do whatever you want. But I'm going to give you, because I'm stupid like that. Because I am stupid like that, I'm going to give you the retail price of that watch. The retail price of that watch, ladies and gentlemen, is crazy. It is $48,000. $48,000. And I'm going to tell all of you a secret. I'm not a real big fan of Omega. I don't think I have an Omega watch, to be honest. I'm gonna come clean and straight. I don't think I have an Omega watch. But if I were to get an Omega watch, that would be the watch. That is a very beautiful watch. You know, the moonshine rose gold, pink gold, whatever you call it. It has satin. It's the green dial monster watch, you know? So me, if I was going to get the ICA is here? Don't tell me that, Damon. The ICA, for real? Wow. No, I can't. You guys hear me? You guys hear me? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Can you guys hear me? Okay, all right. So if you are into Omega, that's the watch that I would pick. I'm not telling you to buy it. I'm not telling you to buy it. That I would like for myself, you know? So our next watch, ladies and gentlemen, is an AP Code 1159. Yeah, the bracelets are, they're crappy. They are absolutely Tercenavo. Yes, they are. Yes, they are, Papa. You're right about that. Coño, Thursday talante. It's an AP Code 1159 chronograph. You know, the 4520. I take it back, ladies and gentlemen. The next watch is a Rolex white gold. This is for you Le Mans lovers. Le Mans lovers. Rolex white gold Le Mans. Black dial, white gauges. Un relosazo. This is, this is another watch that I always say, a white wrinkled shirt rolled up, a pair of shorts, a pair of flip-flops, just looking and having that watch on your wrist. That's it. You don't need nothing else. Nothing else. You put it in your hand, es una jodienda. It's like you're driving a Steve McQueen in Le Mans, White gold Daytona. Unbelievable, that watch. I think it's beautiful. Black dial, white gauges, 40 millimeter. Reference number 126529. Retail price is $50,000. $50,000. Mr. Donut saying $220,000. And ladies and gentlemen, this watch is a collector's choice, collector's dream, collector's grade, collector's grave, collector's unit. This has everything, ladies and gentlemen. But Mr. Donut, for the first time in the evening, you went so far, and Renato Teixeira came and got you. Renato is the man. Nobody's going to beat Renato. Nobody. Scout's honor. Renato's, nobody's going to beat him. Ladies and gentlemen, don't pay for that Rolex Le Mans. White gold, black dial, white gauges. 40 millimeter. Don't pay for that watch. And I mean, don't pay for that watch more than $186,000. And dapping, okay? There it is. My elbow hurts. No more. I can't do that. It hurts me. You know what it is already, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is an AP Cold 1159 chronograph, 41 millimeters. It's an unbelievable looking time machine. You know, smoke, gray dial, and strap. It's an unbelievable looking watch. Unbelievable. Rose gold. Reference number 26393NR. Ladies and gentlemen, this is no monkey business. This watch has a retail price of $52,000, ladies and gentlemen. 52,000 maracas, papa. $52,000. And I'm going to tell you, because I'm stupid like that, you do whatever you want, but don't pay for that watch. Can anybody guess this price in this watch? $59,000. Wow. Wow. Okay. You said $59,000. That's how much you will pay for it? $59,000. Okay. 37. Renato, I'm going to be nice to you. You went all the way up, but it ain't there. It ain't there. It ain't there. And I'm going to tell you, but ustedes son unos lambones, because you know those guys over there, you know, Jiminy Cricket, you know, with the Chia Pet spray can hair, and Dora the Explorer, the Puerto Rican Charlie Brown. You know what I'm trying to say? You know, Deputy Boxing Black Eyes, you know, that stable over there. They have made a killing of those watches from you guys. You know, from the Cold 1159. La han hecho así, mira, bien duro. Duro. I'm going to tell you, don't pay for that $52,000 retail price watch. You know, rose gold, the casing, and it has like a Velcro, you know, gray strap and gray dial. Ladies and gentlemen, no sean lambones. No sean lambones. Don't pay for that watch more than $22,000. You know, remember what I told you. Remember what I told you, ladies and gentlemen. Don't pay. I know what I'm trying to tell you. Ladies and gentlemen, prophecy. Prophecy doesn't whisper. Prophecy doesn't whisper. I'm telling you what it is, ladies and gentlemen. These are my last two watches of the evening, and we're going to call it quits, and we're going to call it a night. You know it, Alex. Good for you. I'm telling you. Prophecy doesn't whisper, man. It doesn't whisper, papi. It's all rigged. It's all rigged, man. You know, before those books came out, you know the book that came out many years ago, The Secret. Is it called The Secret? You know, it's a little book. Even my daughter was reading The Secret, you know. My daughter was reading The Secret and the 48 powers, of the law, or 40, something like that, you know, something to that effect. And I remember that, you know, I would read the book, and I would tell my daughter. She would look at me like I had 50 heads. My daughter probably was a junior in high school, a junior or a sophomore, right? And she would look at me and tell me, but Dad, did the 48 laws of power. I read that one too, right? So I would tell my daughter, and she said, but Dad, how do you know this? This just came out of the book. I said, come on, Mama. This has been around forever. You know, Paco Gambino, he corrected me. You know, Paco Gambino corrected me when I was a young man. You know, and you know, the people still think that the Secret, the 48 powers of laws, papi, this has been around forever. Remember, prophecy doesn't whisper. Right? Ladies and gentlemen, our next watch is a Vacheron Constantin Overseas. Rose gold, a 4520. 4520 210R/B967. 41 millimeter. Let me tell you, man, again, man, this is a supersonic machine. This Vacheron Constantin Overseas with that green dial, I mean, it's powerful to look at. It's really mesmerizing. It's un relosazo. And this is not the 4500. This is the 4520. The new, you know, it's the same thing, but, you know, more perks, more power reserve. Oye, 54,000 pesos. Este tipo está loco, brother. Este tipo está loco. Es que Mr. Donald doesn't even let me finish, and he says, here's the number. Here's the number. Here's the number. Ladies and gentlemen, that Vacheron Constantin is beautiful. Rose gold with a green dial. 41 millimeter. 4520. Brand new. The new model. You know, and Mr. Donut said $54,000. I can't see that well no more. But under my finger, you'll see it. Backwards, $54,000. $54,000. Don't pay more than $54,000. Bobby, I don't know. These are students that I have, you know. The students that I have that they know already what's going on. You know, $54,000. Saludos, saludos, luxury gentlemen, saludos. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, I'm keeping this last one because I'm telling you the Richard Mille watches are going to come out of the woods. Richard Mille watches are going to come out of the woods. And ladies and gentlemen, like this gentleman says, no way. I'm going to tell you this watch here now is a Richard Mille. They call this one, you know, they call this one the RM055. They call it the Bubba Diamonds. Bubba Diamonds, you know, because it's black one, you know, with a skeleton eyes, you know, you can see that all the organs of the watch is unbelievable. Yes, some of us do hate Richard Mille, but we have to tell you what's going on so you don't get flim-flam and you don't get fleeced like Michael Jordan got fleeced out of his Charlotte Hornets basketball team, you know, because he was playing around with those people from Chicago. They have 35 billion. He thought he can sit down on the round table with 1 billion, but they had 35. And they took all his money and they took his basketball team. You know, that was one of the biggest flim-flam fleecing I have ever seen in my life, ladies and gentlemen. Esa gente son King Kong, papi. They're King Kong. They're King Kong. You know, I'm telling you what's going on. Richard Mille, RM055, the Bubba Diamonds, you know, discontinue in 2021. You know, unbelievable. It has 2 sets of paperwork. 2 sets. Papi, you're only going to hear the best from me, man. 2 sets. It has a paperwork for the watch, and it has paperwork for the diamonds, you know, for the diamonds. Papi, this is a watch that was all the way up, man. You know he is a cow tipper, Papa. You know it. It went all the way up. You know, people just sending money wire, you know, sending wire. I don't want to tell you. It was disgusting, you know. ¿Pa qué? Why rub it in your people, you know? Si cayeron la gente chocado, people got beat up with that watch. They got beat up, you know? Unbelievable. With a titanium clasp, you know, it's STD, you know, TPT, NTPT. But in regards, it's just an STD. That's it. Una infección. It's an infection, ladies and gentlemen. It's an infection. And ladies and gentlemen, it was discontinued like you guys like it. Discontinue. You know? Comes easy, papi, goes. Se va. You're right, papi. You know it. Plastic, you know? And ladies and gentlemen, I'm just going to tell you, $700,000, papi. 700,000 pesos. $700,000. Yes. It was, you know, one of those very low, you know, numbers, you know, production watches or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I don't care. No more limited edition, whatever you want. But ladies and gentlemen, they still out there. They're parading this watch around. I'm going to tell you this so you, para que se queden quietos, so you understand how I work. They're asking for that watch $292,000, $288,000, $276,000. And I'm going to tell you because I'm stupid like that. I'm stupid like that. I'm stupid like that. Don't pay. Don't pay for that watch more than $256,000, and it is dropping faster than Bill Clinton's pants in an Arkansas farmhouse. I'm going to tell you this before I leave. I'm going to tell you something. And if you guys don't know this, there's a big percentage of Richard Mille watches. There is. You know, you have the people from Asia, you know, over there, Dubai, you know, those people over there, Singapore, you know, they like that. You know, those people, they like those watches. But their number one customer of all those watches, and I'm gonna be responsible to say in the secondary gray watch market are cryptocurrency millionaires que han perdido las nargas. Que han perdido las nargas. Ladies and gentlemen, I really honestly hope you enjoy this watch market update show and that all of you have learned something. At least you learned something, you know? Maybe you don't agree with everything, and I don't expect that. I need you guys to, you know, to disagree. That's the way the show works, you know? But I hope you learned something. Put everything that you think you learned, put it away in your drawer. So, you know, on a rainy day, you know, you can use it. You can defend yourself, right, guys? And remember, wisdom, papi, wisdom, you know? You know, prophecy doesn't whisper, papi. And if you think that I just pick up on these things and I learned them yesterday, it wasn't that way. Anyway, guys, I want to thank all of you for supporting the channel and helping the channel. Just by being here, that's enough for me too, as it is. All right, guys? Again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Like I always say, you know, in Sweet Kid Kino, he's sleeping right now. He's taking a rest. Take care and brush your hair. Good night, guys. Thank you so much for everything. Ciao, papa. Cuídense. Good luck to you, Dr. E. Good luck, Thurston. Good luck, Mr. Donut, Mr. Blair, Damon, all of you. You know who I'm forgetting. I'm sorry, but Pete, whatever. You know what I'm saying. Alex, all of you. Suave, papá. José Mercado. Suave. Lo quiero mucho. Bendiciones. Take care.